So I'm just come to you just for some advice.
Sure.
Basically about a month ago, I got broken up with,
Yep.
and I was dating her over the summer, and it started actually like right before the summer, and we didn't have much time where we were together. Beyond that, it started like around June and ended August. Like, she wasn't really good with communication, I guess, because one day she said she wanted a break for a couple days to think about things out of nowhere. And then she called me and said, she doesn't have feelings for me anymore, and then just wanted to break up. So it was a bit random for me because I had no idea, right? So I was dating her for 2 months, and then, out of nowhere, she tells me how she feels. And she said for like the past 3 weeks, she felt like that. So for
Mm.
3 weeks, she was, saying whatever, she loves me, whatever. And in reality, it wasn't true. And, I do see her in school all the time. So it's difficult when I see her talking to other people, you know, since it's only been a month after the breakup. So.
Yeah, I got you. I got you. Okay, so just at the beginning there, rehash exactly how it went. At an important point on this. I want to rehash that beginning part real quick. So how did you meet her?
I met her in school.
Okay, and then she stopped liking you after basically like a month, essentially.
Yeah, about a month in, she said she started developing feelings where she started to like me less, and she didn't tell me because she said that she wanted to, she thought she was gonna get over it, and she was gonna work on it, and then she said it progressed into not liking me at all, at the end after 2 months.
Yeah, you probably messed up, my friend. You messed up. You probably talked to her way too much. You probably acted way too lovey-dovey up front. You probably chased her a lot more than you realize, and that just turned her off. That's most likely what you did. It's probably because you don't have much experience and you don't know, so you're going off of some ideal picture that you were taught growing up, which is wrong. So you probably just gave her way too much, and then she's like, "Oh, ew." And girls don't like that, man. They don't. They'll say, "Oh, let's hang out, this and that. Let's hang out all the time. Let's talk every day. Let's go to bed together on FaceTime." They'll say all these things, but they don't want that. They think
Yeah.
they want it. Did you do any of those things?
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I definitely think I did do some of those things, and you're right. I mean, I do not have much experience, so I mean, it's definitely
Yeah.
something that will help me now, knowing
Yeah.
what not to do.
Well, here, look at it this way, right? You have to learn to appeal to multiple sides of a woman. Okay, you have to appeal to not just like here, I'm gonna try to break this down in a simple manner, right? You have the outside perspective, okay? So you got to appeal on some level in a physical way, whether it's some baseline level of attraction or size or whatever. Okay, that's number one. But then the most important thing after that initial thing is you have to appeal to her emotional side, like her dark side. Okay.
Yeah.
And you do that by ensuring that the power dynamic is always in your favor. This is where every guy screws up, essentially. Every guy screws this up. Every single one. They go in like a total lamb, like a little baby lamb. They walk in, they're jumping around, excited, right? And they don't understand that women don't want that from a man. What they want is a guy that's essentially going to be like, "Hey, I mean business. If you don't act right, then you're gone." That's what they truly want on an emotional level. They're going to try to test you to see what you're going to do, and you probably caved in a couple scenarios you shouldn't have caved because you thought it was not a big deal. And then a few of those things stack up really quickly, and now all of a sudden she's like, "Oh, I don't like this guy anymore." It doesn't make any sense to her even sometimes as well. But you have to be able to learn that appealing and maintaining a woman is not just about doing what she says, because what she says and what she wants truly are two very different things. And this is a little bit taboo in society right now, unfortunately. Like, that's not a popular opinion because everyone wants to
Yeah.
try to pretend like, oh, yeah, well, if someone tells you, they're telling you the truth, right? It's like, since when, man? Since when someone's saying what they want with what they genuinely want? There's a lot of copes that people have stacked in their lives, right? They stack layers and layers and layers of rationalizations, and then they start talking like they know what they want, but their life is a total mess. So clearly they don't, right?
Yeah.
So I think as a guy, like all the guys that I try to teach or whatever and try to educate is to understand that just because someone says something, it doesn't mean that's what they want.
Right.
So you have to be able to see past that a little bit. You have to be really extremely smart. Women will say a lot of things. It doesn't mean that that's what they actually want. And very rarely, like when it comes to communication, women are the worst communicators. They're the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot of girls, girls are the first ones to talk about communication. Oh, communication is key. It's the most important thing we all have to do, communication. And then the funny thing is about that is their communication is totally awful. Like it's the
Right.
worst. And because it's what they feel communication is and what it actually is in reality is two entirely different things. So I'm going to tell you what male communication is. Hey man, you were a dick today. Oh, why? Why was I a dick? What did I do? Well, you were saying this shit about me. You're doing this. You were doing this. Yeah, man. You know what? You're right. Yeah, I was doing that. My bad. Okay, man. You know what? Whatever. It's all good. Okay, that's male to male communication. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is now female communication. Hey, so I just don't. I feel like I want to take a break right now. It's not that I don't like you or anything, but I just, I'm really busy the next couple of days. Okay. Now we have to translate that. What the translation is, hey, so emotionally speaking, I don't really like you that much right now. And I want to see how you're going to behave if I leave for a couple of days. I want to see if you're going to chase me or not, or do all these crazy things. That's what the translation is. So now
Yeah.
they expect, to them, good communication, to them, good communication is when you as a man are able to read their mind, essentially, because they're never going to tell you directly because they don't know how.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the reality. Like they're gonna say one thing, but they're gonna want you to get it, you know? And it's always the guys that just quote unquote get it. Those are the guys that understand what they actually mean when they say these things. Because they're like, oh yeah, I can talk to this guy. We have such good communication, aka he can read my mind.
Yeah.
And that sounds, like I said, it's taboo subject in society, but this is when women really like a guy, they become emotional. And when they become emotional, they're not able to communicate in a logical format the same way. That same girl can go to work and talk to her boss in a logical format and have a logical conversation. She goes home to the guy that she's emotionally invested in and feels a certain way about, and that changes.
All right.
So this is the stuff you have to understand. And if you get this early in life, you can understand everything about women.
Yeah, I mean, I understand, that the female communication is really bad, but I do also really see that I was at fault after what you said. I did
Yeah.
do some of those things, and that probably definitely pushed her away. So, I mean,
Yeah.
well, I'll know for next time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
Just gotta
I
be a little
mean,
more
it's a bit
disciplined.
difficult.
That's all,
Yeah,
man.
it's a bit difficult now, seeing her moving on so fast. But reason is probably because she moved on like when she started losing feelings a month in. So
Yeah.
she's had a lot more time, and she's already moving on fast. For me, it was unexpected. So it's a bit difficult to transition and to see her
Yeah.
like that.
Well, you have to be very aware of where you stand in the dynamic. It's very important that you're always aware. Okay. The most important thing you as a guy need to understand is where do I stand in her books right now? Where are we at? And if you don't pay attention, you'll get blindsided. And a lot of guys get blindsided because they don't pay attention. They get into a relationship like, oh, this is going great. She's telling me she likes me. One day she can tell you that and mean it. The next day it cannot be that way anymore. And you have to be ready for
Yeah,
that.
100%.
It's the nature of the feminine, right? The feminine is very chaotic. It's not consistent. It's not reliable. These aren't the characteristics of the feminine. The feminine is
Yeah.
very sporadic, in the moment entirely. One moment they can genuinely love you with everything they have, and the next moment, depending on what the situation is like, they can very quickly just disappear and not care
Yeah.
about you at all. And this is something that men need to accept, and they have to understand that there's a burden of performance on them to ensure that this does not happen. And there's certain things that appeal to a woman's logic, and there's another thing that appeals to a woman's emotions, and the emotions will always beat the logic, which is why they break rules for certain guys and not for others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all I can really do is just move on. There's nothing else I can do, and I'm going to be more disciplined.
Yeah.
And next time, learn from my mistakes. I mean, that's how it works.
Simple. Yeah, exactly. That's how it is, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a good lesson, Like women will teach you about the world, man. Women will teach you everything you need to know about how the world functions if you are able to see the lesson that they give you.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, man.
No worries, man.
It was definitely a help. I love your streams, by the way.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. If you like what you saw, subscribe to my channel and check out my website in the description to book a call. Thanks for watching.